Welcome to Hot Flashbacks, where we boldly navigate the ups and downs and unexpected detours of our 30s and 40s while finally recalling how clueless we were in our 20s. I'm Molly Ward, your captain through this midlife roller coaster. Stick around for laughs, life lessons, and maybe a few I can't believe I survived that stories. Follow our journey on Instagram and Facebook at Hot Flashbacks. Make sure to like, follow, and share so I can keep making these episodes. Let's dive in. Experience joy when looking at other people's front yards and landscaping, and might even like it enough to stop and tell them about it.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
I love your lawn.
I walk around my neighborhood and I think, ooh, I'm going to do that to my yard.
Welcome to Hot Flashbacks. I'm your host, Molly Ward, sitting here today with really a beloved guest of the show.
Wow.
You just dropped your jaw.
I did. I love being beloved.
You are beloved. Peeps, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Hi, Molly.
Hey. So it's been a minute since you've been on, but I have to say that you are kind of a special request.
Well, I mean, I'm so honored because I think all of your guests are so amazing. And so it's nice that people want a recurring segment of me.
They do.
And so I feel pretty excited about that. Thank you, audience.
Holler at your people. So I didn't tell you what we were going to chat about today because I think you're best on your best when you're winging it. At least maybe because you make ridiculous mistakes when you're not prepared. And I can't wait for that to happen.
All right. I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm ready to wing it.
So a couple weeks ago, and now I guess maybe it's been like a month, me and you, or you and I, grammar's not my strong suit, took a trip to, where did we go? St. Louis.
Kansas City.
I'm in perimenopause. Give me a break.
Yeah. It was 4 days we were there. For like 1 hour.
Okay, well, I'm in perimenopause. I have brain fog. Okay, we went to Kansas City.
Yes, we went to Kansas City.
With our favorite friends, Veronica and Lisa. And the four of us spent, it was great. And the four of us spent 4 days together, exploring Kansas City and reconnecting and hanging out. And when I returned home, I thought to myself, a lot of times we go on these trips together because we try and go once a year, right? And the four of us try to get together once a year. We were all roommates in college, and we kind of started a tradition of taking a trip together once a year to connect. And Veronica and Lisa live in Wisconsin, and you live in Michigan, and I live here in Utah. So the four of us getting together can be a feat sometimes, but we've been pretty good about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have done this almost consistently for 20 years.
It's wild.
I think the only times we missed were COVID and then maybe one other time. Well, the one time that you bought your plane ticket for the wrong weekend.
I don't think that happened. I think I was having perimenopause.
Yeah, definitely. That was perimenopause.
Okay. Just a quick show note. If you could, I don't know, the camera's very close to your face. I mean, I love you, but there it is. Oh Lord, I was looking up your nostrils. We've taken, 20 years worth of trips. We've gone to a lot of places. Some kind of basic, just kind of a place for us to be able to hang out and spend time, and others more intentionally a place for us to explore and do new things. But this time I remember kind of making note of how old I felt. That it felt different than it has in the past. Not that it wasn't fun. I had a blast. But it was just one of those things where it was our day-to-day on vacation felt different. Did you feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely. I totally think it felt different. And I was trying to think about it. Is this was it just different because it was different? We're different. It's a different city. It's a different place. Or was it different because, you said, sometimes we go where we're more just hanging out and playing games. And sometimes it's more we're traveling and exploring and seeing what a city has to offer. or was it our age? But yeah, I definitely think it felt different. I mean, for one, like all of the activities we planned were like daytime activities. We didn't do any like nightlife, and none of us had any interest in like, I mean, I feel like the last few years we've at least one of the nights like gone out and done something like late night activity. You know what I mean? I guess we did go to a comedy show that was late at night.
Yeah, I was going to say we did go to a comedy show. I mean, I think I might have taken a power nap in the bathroom beforehand, but we did make it through the comedy show. It was like midnight when we got out.
We did. It was pretty late.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I think all of us like throughout the day, it was also the Olympics were happening. So I think throughout the day, we were all just like very excited to go back to the hotel room and like relax and watch the Olympics, which, you know, it is a change. It's different. It was different.
Yeah. So I made some notes about some of the things that happened on the trip, because I thought it was going to be important for me to recall what it was that made me feel so old. So the first thing I noticed was that I got to the hotel. Well, I went to the wrong hotel, first of all. So you all told me it was on the second floor, right?
Second floor.
So I go to this other hotel, looks good. People are having fun. I go in, I go to the second floor, and there's no rooms on the second floor of this hotel. It's just a pool. So I'm very confused. So I go downstairs and I tell the front desk, look, I'm staying in room 262 and I can't find it. And he's like, ma'am, we don't have a room 262. And I'm like, yes, you do, because my friends are there and they just texted me. And he's like, it's not possible. I think you're at the wrong hotel. And I was like, okay. So,
I mean, in your defense, it was across the street. So like,
yeah, I was close.
Yeah.
So I hiked up the hill to the other hotel. I get in and I go up to the second floor and the doors open and they have those signs that say which way to go to find your room. And it's not super complicated. It's just like a long hallway to the left and a long hallway to the right. Sometimes you'll go to these hotels and it's like there's hallways all which ways.
Yeah.
And so I looked at our room number 262 and it's to the left. And it's like the second to the last room on the left. And in my younger years, I probably would have been like, oh, my gosh, why is it so far? Every time we want to go to the elevator, we're going to have to schlep so far. But I remember saying to myself, ooh, I can't wait. I'm going to get my steps in. Like, what has changed in my life that I was thinking to myself, oh, good, at least I'll get my steps in. Like, that's not.
Yeah. Have you purposely started like parking far away from the grocery store to get a few extra steps into?
No, no,
it's in that ballpark.
It is. It was just one of those things that I was like, well, I guess at least I'm going to get my exercise. I mean, here's the positive. The positive spin on that is that I thought of something positive because, you know, I could have been like,
that's huge.
I can't believe I have to walk so far. And instead I was like, oh, look, a way to get my steps in. But I've never felt older than I did in that moment.
That's so okay, but that positive spin is really nice. I was just talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we were saying how the older we get, and she's even a little younger than me, the older we get, the happier we are as humans. Like, it's because we don't really care about as much stuff as that bothered us before, and it's just easier to be more positive and be more happy. And it's like, sometimes when you say it like that, it sort of sounds like, oh my God, like, am I, dead behind the eyes? But it's like, no, it's like empowering. It's like, you can just be happier, I think, the older you get. So maybe that fits into that a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. I don't
know.
Like I said, I was pleased to be getting my steps in because I try to hit 12,000 every day. So, and then
how do you do on that? That's a lot of steps.
Is it?
I don't know. I mean,
I hit between 12 to 16.
That's pretty good. You work on a college campus. That makes it probably easier.
Yeah, I work on the fourth floor and I always take the stairs and I got to hike to my car
to get those steps.
Yep.
In your younger days, would you have taken the stairs to get the steps or would you have taken the elevator?
I don't know. Sorry. Are there crickets in the background? Because right now, like there was silence and I thought to myself, oh, it'd be cool if we had one of those like weird, cricket chirpy sounds for silence, but you seem to be providing that. What is happening? Are you camping?
No, I think I maybe just live in a crickety neighborhood. Should I relocate?
Did you say crickety neighborhood?
I guess so. One time I had crickets in my house and it was so annoying. I had to call an exterminator. They were in the basement.
That's the worst. Remember the one time you had a bat in your house?
Oh, yes. We could do a whole episode on the things I've had in my house. That
time that you had a bat in your house and you called me. This is probably like 15 years ago.
Oh, absolutely.
I was scared you were going to get rabies and we weren't going to be able to be friends anymore.
Well, everybody was scared I was going to get rabies. My friend Kyle, he happened to get up really early to work out and his gym was by my apartment. He swung by and he helped me scoop the bat into like a Tupperware container and we threw it in the garbage. But then later when I went to work and I looked it up, they said you were supposed to take the bat to the health department to make sure it didn't have rabies if it was alone with you while you were sleeping, which it was. So I went back to my apartment to try to get the bat in the Tupperware out of the garbage and the garbage had come. And I never got to know if I had rabies.
We're still on the edge of our seats. But didn't you also like have a cat like Marshmallow or something?
I had a cat named Mabel.
Same difference.
That was named for Mabel Murphy's, our favorite power couple.
Yep. And didn't she like try to catch the bat? And you were scared she was going to get rabies.
I had two cats. And what happened was, it was the middle of the night when I discovered the bat. And so I trapped the bat into the bathroom and I closed the door to that. But the cats got trapped in there too. And so in the morning, the cats had been like playing with and sort of mutilating the bat all night. It was a rough scene. It wasn't good.
And then your cats died?
No, they survived. The cat must not have been rabid.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Everything was okay.
Okay, good. Okay, so I don't know.
The first thing you did that made me feel old was the steps.
Yes.
The steps to the hotel room were.
Yes. And then the next thing was that I made sure to have a glass of water before bed so that I wouldn't get heartburn. But we know how that actually turned out. Yeah. So...
Oh, it turned out so badly.
It was so badly. It was a rough night. And then we also passed a bar on our way back from dinner and we were walking past and people were like dancing and having a grand time. That's a thing old people say right there, having a grand time. And Absolutely. We walked by and we were like, oh my God, look how fun. Let's go home. No one even thought about going in.
Right.
No.
We acknowledged that it looked like a really fun place, but it wasn't for us.
Yep. Not at that time of night. It was not.
Nope. That 10 p.m. hour. Too much for us.
So night one, I ended up having a pretty rough night, but not because, so this is again, I felt so old because I was trying to avoid vomiting in the hotel room with you all because a hotel room is not a very private experience.
No. And we should say we had an Airbnb and it got canceled on us at the last minute. So we ended up having to all four share a hotel room.
That's right.
Which was totally fine. We've done that before. It wasn't a big deal, but it was like not very private at all, obviously.
Yeah. And I wasn't anticipating that I would need to vomit.
Right.
But
it's not a normal activity.
Right. I can only speculate that.
But although on some of these girls' trips, people have vomited before.
Okay.
But not
yes.
What we assume was you getting food poisoning, not from drinking.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say is that normally on a girls' trip, we would have stopped at that bar. And then someone, Veronica, might have vomited on the trip, but it would have been from having a good time. But instead, I had some severe food poisoning situation and ended up having to go downstairs to the hotel lobby, buy Tums. What did you order on DoorDash? You DoorDashed me some diarrhea medication or something. Yeah, ginger chews for my stomach.
Some stomach medication and some Gatorade.
It was bad. I just kind of it took me 3 hours to throw up, but then I did. And then I slept the rest of the day till 1 o'clock. So that was kind of a bummer. But the rest of the trip was really good. So we'll forget that happened.
Yes. And we were all very relieved because our first thought was like, oh no, Molly's sick. This is terrible. We feel so bad for her. And then our second thought was like, oh no, is this something contagious? And are we all going to be throwing up in a few hours?
Yeah.
So luckily it was probably just seemed like food poisoning.
Yeah. So I got up at 5 a.m. to buy Tums downstairs in the hotel lobby. And I think 20-something me wasn't getting out of bed to buy Tums. I feel like 20-something me would have had like a screwdriver to see if that helped. But 40-something me was like, I need to get some calcium pills or whatever they put in Tums that's supposed to coat my stomach. Didn't work. I did note also in my little trip diary that we're running behind because Peeps had to put on her, quote, walking shoes. So I don't know.
Well, I mean, I have to say that does make us sound old, but I have had walking shoes for many years. So I think I aged ahead of my time on the comfortable shoes department. But yes, I always need to have walking shoes. The other night, I went out to see this comedy show with some friends of mine, and it's only like a mile from our house. And we took a lift there. And then when it was over, we were like, my friend was like, why don't we just walk home? And I was like, ooh, I have flip-flops on. She's like, you're wearing Birkenstocks. I was like, yeah, but I can walk a 1 mile in sandals.
I also did forget to note that on Friday, after dinner, before I got sick, I made a note that I really enjoy a walk after a meal. Like,
it's true. It's
why?
True. And it's supposed to be really healthy for you.
I guess, I don't know.
Right,
like,
we walked back to the hotel.
Yes. And I remember saying that, like, we were like, ooh, here's what we'll do. We'll get an Uber, but after dinner, we'll just walk back because it's really good for your digestion. Like, I mean, it's not wrong, but it is old.
It is. It's true. It is old.
Okay, so
I never once thought about my digestion until I was in my 40s.
Yeah.
Honestly. Digestion was like a non-issue. Now I think about digestion multiple times a day. And as a mother, too. Oh, my God. I think about my children's digestion. It's too much. I don't need to know this much about how the digestive system works.
Yeah. You're making sure you're getting your fiber.
Yeah. You got to drink a lot of water.
Got to have the Metamucil.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it is one of those things that I never thought I'd be that person to be like, let's take a walk after the meal so that our stomachs can settle. Also, speaking of shoes, because I know you have walking shoes. And then at one point you put on some other shoes that you were like, oh, these are my casual shoes. And they seem to have quite a bit of arch support and lift. And so you've got a few pairs of the orthopedics, if we might say.
Well, all of my shoes have to be able to fit my custom orthotics.
Oh, right.
So
that is
going to be sort of, but I have been having feet issues for a long time. And do you remember this one time we went on a girls trip and I had been going to like physical therapy to try to see if that could help with the foot thing, which actually the last few years they've been great. But, and my physical therapist, you know how they have those foam rollers that you like roll your calf out on? And I was supposed to be doing that multiple times a day. And she's like, well, since you're traveling and you can't take a foam roller, just take a rolling pin in your carry-on and then you can use a rolling pin. And remember, I brought it with. You made fun of me.
I remember. I also remember that you have some sort of braces that you're wearing on your feet for a little while when you slept. You want to talk about that?
No, those were so useless. That never helped. And they were so uncomfortable. Yeah, they were like plantar fasciitis braces. Yeah. I've had like 3 different renditions of them throughout the past 10 years. None of them are helpful.
None of it works.
They're terrible.
Stay away from it.
I have to tell you something funny about the foam roller / rolling pin.
Okay.
Is I took it on that trip and everything was fine. And then on the way back, the woman at TSA was like, we're going to need to search your bag. And I was like, okay, this is before I had pre-check. So maybe now that I'm old and have pre-check,
bougie,
let me pass. But yeah, she was like, we need to search your bag. And I was like, okay. And so she goes to my bag and she pulls out the rolling pin. She's like, what is this? And I was like, well, it's a rolling pin. And she's like, well, why are you bringing this with you? So I was like, oh, well, I need it for my, it's a medical reason because of my feet. And she was like, well, do you have a doctor's note or something? And I was like, no. And I was like, are you not allowed to bring rolling pins on board a plane? And she's like, this is a weapon. women have been using these to beat their husbands for years. That's what she told me.
Yeah. I mean, in cartoons, like in Tom and Jerry, not like just like.
Exactly. She let me pass through with it, but she said never to bring it again.
Okay, good. I'm glad you made it. Yeah. Okay, let's review. Okay. I wrote that on Sunday, the restaurant was so dark, I had to use my flashlight to read the menu. So I was not the only one, by the way. I don't even have glasses, but like, what is with these dim lit restaurants? I sound like my father. Can't see a damn thing in here.
I think I'm laughing extra at that one because that is not something I have yet experienced. Like, I must have really good eyes. And so, I don't know.
You're wearing glasses. Okay, you're wearing glasses. You don't have really good eyes, just to be clear. Like, I don't know. Like, there's a standard for good eyes and not good eyes. Good eyes, no glasses. Not good eyes, wears glasses. I don't know. You're not going to be...
Good point.
Okay.
I'm not the poster child for good eyes.
You are not. You are not. So I don't know.
Well, I don't need a light in a dimly lit restaurant.
Okay. Well, I did, and I felt old, but I want to see what I'm ordering. I can't. I mean, I also had to pull the menu a little further away from my eyes to see it. I noted that I sort of did one of those kind of. Yeah, I've been kind of thinking about that lately. Like, a couple times I've said to Alex, like, can you read this? And I'll put something like 4 inches from her face. And she's like, no, it's so close. I'm like, oh, okay. Because when I look at it, it's blurry. She's like, yeah, because it's right in front of your eyes. I'm like, okay, well, I've never had glasses of any sort. So like, I expect at some point my vision is going to decline just because I think that happens to most people.
Well, speaking of old eyes, our friend Lisa on the trip we did have a whole conversation with her about how she only buys her readers at Whole Foods because they have the best option.
Oh, right.
That is an old person conversation.
And she says she has quite a few scattered around her house. You never know when you're going to need a reader,
No.
Yeah.
I guess not.
Well, I might be finding myself in that section soon.
It sounds like you should go to an eye doctor first.
I think that's dramatic. It was very dark in there. Okay.
I believe.
I also wrote in here that we got in an Uber and talked excessively about menstruation cycles with someone we didn't know. So we did. You remember this, right? Well, like with no regard.
It was after the comedy show.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't?
Oh.
It wasn't.
Oh, you're right. It wasn't.
It was like 1 p.m. on the way to the jewelry making.
With the person.
No, she didn't say like 3 words. We got in and just like continued this conversation about menstruation for probably 20 minutes with no holds, like just.
Right. Like no worries that this was embarrassing. Because again, the older you get, the less you care about what other people think. Like it's not like we were talking about something like dangerous. Like this is a bodily function.
Yeah.
We should be able to talk about it wherever we want. Yeah.
Yeah.
I stand by that.
Go women.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She looked uncomfortable.
Oh, well, that makes me feel bad.
Yeah, I don't feel bad. Okay. I think that we can talk about whatever we want, but I actually think I'm hoping that she went home and like told somebody about how interesting our conversation was for her. Maybe she learned something. She looked young, so maybe she needed to hear some of the tips we had to offer. Okay. What else did I write down here about things that happened on the trip that made me feel old? Did you have any moments on the trip where you were like, old me, young me would never have done this?
I mean, just like the level of interest and excitement I had around coming home and being in the hotel and watching the Olympics. Like I had never cared about that sort of thing.
I mean, we were pretty much like, we would come back at like 8:00 at night and just sit and watch the Olympics and chat with each other. And nobody really drank or anything. We just kind of like, it was actually really great. It was just not what we would have done even maybe 5 years ago, I feel like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
We went to a museum.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think 5 years ago me would have spent a lot of time there.
No, and it's hard for me to judge if that's an old person thing or not, because I'm just like never really been a museum person. But yeah, I think you're right. 5 years ago, we would not have gone to a museum. Probably.
Yeah. Well, in thinking about, vacation making me feel old, I looked up some things, and we're going to give you we're going to have a little test here. So, I mean, okay. I'm going to say test, but it's not really a test. So
40, I'm not very good at tests.
40. Yeah. Yes. I know you have test anxiety. That's why I didn't let you know about this.
I do. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. 40 things that I've learned in my 40s. And let's see how many of these you feel like you have also learned in your 40s. Okay. I don't know if we can go through all 40 of them. I'm going to pick the nuggets, the winners. Okay.
Pick the best.
Lesson 1, that you can't undo the damage of overplucking your eyebrows that you did. Let's talk about it.
I have learned that.
Yes.
Well, first of all, I have 0 eyebrows.
To begin with, or because of the plucking?
To begin with.
Okay.
Well, both. And now I just have no eyebrows. You can't even see them outside my glass. If I have my glasses on, you can't even see that I have eyebrows.
Yeah.
And they're very small. And I haven't plucked them. I stopped plucking them during COVID to just see if they would go back. No, they don't. They're not coming back. My mom warned me. I didn't listen.
Same.
I feel like we've already said this on this podcast. So it seems strange because I've only been a guest 3 times. But you changed my life in my 20s by telling me there was a such thing as an eyebrow pencil. I didn't know that.
Oh, right. Thing. Yeah.
So that has really helped with my eyebrow game. But there's still, yes, I agree. That is a lesson I had learned.
So
leave your eyebrows alone.
When I lived in Portland, I want to say I was probably in the 6th or 7th grade, and across from my middle school was this grocery store, and it was a local store called Kino's, and I would go there and buy candy after school. And sometimes my parents and I would, run there to grab some groceries. And I remember that there was a lady that worked there. She was very nice. She was a cashier, and her name was Penny, and she didn't have any eyebrows, and she used a blue pencil to draw them on. And I remember numerous times that my dad had made a comment to me, careful, you don't want to look like Penny. I might be Penny in 10 years. I don't know if I'm going to go blue, but same thing. Yeah. Over plucking in the 90s. There's no undoing it.
No going back.
Okay. One day you just wake up and cannot see right in front of you. You start holding things far away and admit you need readers. I mean,
I don't have that problem, as I mentioned.
Well, okay. I haven't gotten readers yet. I think the way to avoid that is to just not read. And so maybe that is what I'm going to try, but I might be there.
Yeah.
Number 3, you're not in high school anymore and cannot consume fast food without major consequences to your digestive system.
I think that is true.
Yeah. I think that's a thing I've learned as well.
You have to do it sparingly. It's not something you should do multiple times a week, or, it's not going to go well.
Yeah. You're right. It's just a weird, I don't remember ever paying so much attention to my digestion and bowel movements in my life than I do now.
I think it's just grease in general. It's just not great for your stomach.
Yeah. Okay.
But
I'm nervous. This is a slippery slope. I don't want you to start giving any more personal experiences. We're going to move on to the next one. 40 things you learned in your 40s. There's nothing wrong with keeping your inner circle small. It's all about quality over quantity.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I have always been someone who I never had a big group of friends. I had lots of different friends in different groups, kind of a person. But I haven't noticed that exactly, but I have noticed that there's for instance, I'm in this mom's group, and my youngest is 8 years old. And there are women in this mom's group who I have been saying to myself for years, oh yeah, as soon as we get to know each other better, we're going to be really good friends. But it has taken so long to get to know each other, because when you're older and you have kids, it takes that much longer to have a full conversation where you're not getting interrupted, or you're not, having to deal with kids, or you're only seeing each other 4 times a year instead of 4 times a month, And so I think it's harder to have a wider circle because You just don't have time to maintain it or to get to know people like you want to.
It does take longer to develop friendships at this age. And that's, I think, part of the reason why we hold our longer term friends so close is because, as much as I might have a friend at work that I love to chat with and hang out with, it doesn't make up for the, 20 years I've invested in our relationship. You can never really replace that. It's like, I think I do have a tight inner circle. I still have friends, but nobody really knows you like the people who knew you in your 20s and 30s,
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And it's like, okay, if not all the time, but like, it's much easier to sort of be lazy with those relationships if you need a minute versus somebody who you just met. So it's just easier.
Yeah.
To have those tighter, closer friends.
I agree. Okay. Number 8, things I learned when I'm 40. Getting into bed at 9:30 on a weekend in your pajamas to watch Love Island is far better than being out at a club with sticky floors and watered down drinks.
500%. Oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
This reminds me of last December. Me, you, and Brooke and your wife, Alex, all went to Vegas to see a concert. Brooke and I got there a day before you guys. And so we're in Las Vegas, right? Like it's city, it doesn't sleep. There's entertainment constantly. We spent an entire day watching and laughing hysterically to Netflix comedy specials. And we had so much fun. But then at the end of the day, and then at the end of the day, we walked on the street to a sushi restaurant, had sushi, and came back and watched more comedy specials. And we were like, I cannot believe we flew to Vegas to watch movies or shows on your computer. But we had the best day ever. It was great.
Yeah
totally.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you look back on maybe things you thought about your parents, that they were boring or they never did anything, or how come they go to bed so early, and they were doing all right, because there's nothing I love more.
Because you're so tired.
I know.
I mean, I just remember my mom, we lived way out in the country, and she would get home from work at 6 o'clock, and I would be like, hey, I really need to go to the mall or to Target, which this was a 40-minute drive. And she would be like, absolutely not. We're not doing that at 6 o'clock on a school night. No. And I'd be so mad because I didn't understand why she couldn't just drive me to Target. I was just like, why are you always so tired? Oh my God. If someone could have told me.
Now you know. Yeah. Well, she probably tried to tell you, but.
She did. I did not listen.
Number 10, things you learn in your 40s, new appliances of any kind might be the most exciting thing of your month. It is true. You get a new fridge, and I remember the last time I got a new fridge, I sent you a bunch of photos. I put labels on the shelves. It was just, it's the best day. But I've kind of always been excited about that kind of thing, but I will admit in your older years, it gets more exciting. You have a person that fixes shit around your house, like a handy person. Do you have one?
A handyman. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a handyman named Bruce.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I do think I think it depends on how handy you are as an individual, though. But I'm handy enough, but some things are just not. I either don't have the time or the energy for. And so, yeah, you got to have that handy person.
I got to tell you, I'm really proud, too, because this weekend, my husband, Carl, and I were doing a stupid project of building this paper patio in our backyard. And my handyman, Bruce, commented on the Facebook post and said, looks great. And I felt really, really special about that.
You did, huh? You feel like he meant it?
I do. I don't think he would say it if he didn't mean it. And I know that he has a paper patio in his backyard, so I know he knows.
That's nice. Good.
Yeah.
Maybe he needs readers.
Maybe, probably, because I actually feel like I can never invite him over again because he's going to take a close look at it and regret saying it looks nice. So I guess I need a new handyman.
It's true. I saw the pictures, and from a distance and without readers on, I could see why he would say it looks great. Number 21, you will absolutely drive your kids to school without wearing a bra, and you will not be the only one. I feel like this is something you do on the daily, so you don't look alarmed.
No. I'm not alarmed by that at all. I do drive them to school with appropriate attire on, but if I had to rush out in my pajamas, I wouldn't think twice about it. I don't have to get out of the car. So.
Yeah. Number 22 says sometimes you buy clothing at Costco.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Costco's the best.
I said to Alex the other day, like, the second I ask you to stop so that we can look at some of the clothes, we need to go. Like, we just need to go. But I could see how you would be like, oh yeah, Costco's got a deal. I need to get myself a zip up hoodie.
Exactly.
And number 22 is, speaking of Costco, you now buy Advil in bulk because of the constant body aches and headaches. It's true.
100%. I go through a lot of Advil. So if there's going to be a class action suit.
Well, if there's going to be a class action suit, you're going to get your $2, right?
I'm going to be in. Yes.
Every week you learn about a new supplement that you should be taking.
Yeah, that is true. I'm not really good at taking things, like I always say, oh, this is going to be the year I'm going to take a multivitamin, or I'm going to, so now I'm on this iron supplement kick, which I've been doing that for about 6 months. So okay. I feel good about that. But yeah, but I do, you definitely hear about all these things you should be taking. It just gets overwhelming for me. And so then I don't take anything, but
it's too much. So I'm doing nothing. Is that
exactly?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same, actually. Yeah, I'm in the same boat where it's like, there's so many supplements, and in theory, I guess you could take them all, right? Like, but right. I mean, who can do that?
And then you would just pee them out.
Yeah.
You'd have really, really expensive pee.
Like that episode of like My Strange Addiction, where that lady like saves all her pee and like uses it to wash her hair and stuff. You seen that?
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, she like saves all her pee. She like bathes in it and drinks it and makes hair conditioner out of it and stuff. Maybe that's an OnlyFans thing you could get behind, is your expensive vitamin B. Just like expensive supplement urine.
I have been considering what my OnlyFans niche could be, because some of those people make a lot of money.
I know.
They don't even have to do anything dirty.
What do you think your niche would be?
Just, like, showing their feet. I don't know. I've been trying to find something.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really want to show my face or my naked body.
Okay.
So it really limits your clientele.
I mean, what if you shared some of like your bodily like liquids or something? Like people are into like other people's saliva, or other people's sweat, or other people's urine, or like trim your pubes and put them in an envelope or something. I'm sure someone's into it.
No,
you wouldn't. You really wouldn't.
No. Well, no, I'm not saying that.
Okay. Yeah. What are you going to do with them? I mean, if nothing else, at least you'd start trimming. Oh, no, I mean, I
had a doctor many years ago tell me that it was not good for your skin down there to do too much scaping.
Okay.
So I believe in medicine.
So similar to the supplements, you were like, well, instead of taking 3 supplements out of the 30, I'll just do none. So you're like, well, instead of trimming even a little, I'm just going to do none. Okay. Yeah.
You got it.
All right. Oh, man. In your 40s, you learn restaurants you have frequented for years suddenly feel significantly louder and you can't hear anyone at the table. I hate a loud restaurant now. I am my father.
Yeah.
We would go places and he would always be like, it's so loud. We got to go somewhere else. I hate this place. I can't hear anything. And I'm that person. And now like these loud noises like really, really upset me. Like I really do not enjoy. So growing up, my parents used to just get so irritated at us for being so loud coming down the stairs. And I never understood it, but we have a teenage boy and I'm telling you, as my dad would say, it sounds like a herd of elephants. And I don't understand how you would have to be so loud on the stairs. And I don't know when that started bothering me, but yeah, just like loud sounds, annoying sounds, like a dog barking. If a dog is barking constantly in my neighborhood, I'm gonna have to call the police. Like I literally cannot with it because I am Karen.
All right. Listen. The herd of elephants and the calling the police on a barking dog are the most old people thing I've ever
you might be right. This one says that you experience joy when looking at other people's front yards and landscaping and might even like it enough to stop and tell them about it.
Oh, 100%. Yes. Yeah.
I love your lawn.
I walk around my neighborhood and I think, ooh, I'm going to do that to my yard.
Yeah.
My porch.
Well, today I sold something on Facebook Marketplace. This lady came to pick it up and I just set it in the driveway. And she texted me after and was like, thank you. And I picked it up and I was like, no problem. She's like, oh my God, cute house, by the way. And I was like, oh, yes. I am so cool. But yeah, people like one time I was outside just like weeding and people stop and say, oh, I just love what you're doing with your yard. And I was like, oh yeah, it's no big deal. But really inside, I'm like beaming that someone in my neighborhood noticed me. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
It takes longer to put yourself to bed than your kids because of all the serums, creams, lotions, and other nighttime rituals that keep you from morphing into a crypt keeper. What are you doing at night before bed? Be honest.
Okay. I'm going to be really honest.
Yeah.
And it falls in a similar category than what we just discussed. I take my makeup off with a makeup wipe.
That's it.
Button.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm not even sure you're doing that all the time.
I'm really lucky because I have very clear skin. So I've never had like a major, I've never built up like a big skin routine.
Yeah.
I know a coworker of mine like 5 or 6 years ago told me, she was like, dude, you got to get an eye cream. And she's like, you got to start doing that before you're in your 40s so that, it's firming up your skin around your eyes. And so I tried and I did it a little bit, but then when it ran out and I couldn't find the same brand, I just got overwhelmed and I just don't do it. How about you? Do you do a lot of things to your face?
I don't. I go through phases. So I go through phases of like consistent routine. One thing about my ADD is that developing routines is actually really difficult for me. And so things that should be a routine, like brushing your teeth for most people, right, is something that you just do. You get up and you go to the bathroom and you brush your teeth, or you get up and drink your coffee and you and it's really difficult for me to develop a routine and keep it for any period of time. We have a glass shower. And so we have glass shower doors and I have to squeegee them off before I get out just so that the water doesn't dry and leave marks on it. And I must have thought of 100 different ways to do it by now. And in my mind, it's going to be a routine. I'm going to figure out what's the best way to squeegee the door. And then I'm going to stick with it. And the reality is, for some reason, I can't do that. And it's the same with putting on makeup. A lot of people put makeup on in a specific order. Because otherwise what happens is you go to social work class with your bagel and your Diet Coke and realize you've only put eyeliner on one eye, not both eyes. Right, P? Is that right?
Oh, well, yeah, but I don't think that was ADD related. I think that was hungover related.
I think that was narcolepsy related, actually. Just fell asleep. Because on occasion I'd look at you and say, every day I looked at you and said, you have toothpaste in the corners of your mouth. Every day.
I couldn't believe I had any friends in college.
About every other day, I would be like, you don't have any eyeshadow or mascara on the left side. And you'd be like, oh, wow. I struggle to even create a routine of okay, I put my deodorant on, I put my lotion on, I do my foundation, I do my mascara. It always feels to me like I'm doing it brand new every time.
Oh, that's wild.
It is because it takes me longer and I'm more likely to forget things. And I also feel like I'm recreating the routine every time I'm doing it.
Well, it's more work.
It's more work.
It's more work. It's more tiring.
Correct.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So that's a little bit frustrating. So my nighttime routine changes same. I have this, I'm kind of like you. If I have something and it runs out, then I'm like, I guess I'm not doing that anymore. I have this serum for dark spots. Cause I noticed this summer that my hands, they start to have dark spots, like freckles, but lots of them, especially in the sun. And they were kind of looking old. And so I put some dark spot serum on my hands every night before bed for about 3.5 weeks. And then I actually am really good about putting on face lotion at nighttime because I live in a very, very dry climate. And when you live in the desert, you have to lotion up constantly. So I am pretty good about that, but I don't have a lot going on with the face.
Yeah. I put on the face lotion in the morning.
I do too. I do both. Have you checked out the House Mormon Secret Mormon Wives? Have you watched this yet?
Well, no. I haven't watched it yet, but I definitely plan on it because I love that kind of TV show.
Okay. So I feel like this a lot when I watch reality TV is that they spend so much time getting ready for bed or getting ready in the morning. Like I'm not doing 50% of those things. It makes me think there's more that I should be doing.
Yeah, I know. But again, I'm so tired all the time.
Yeah.
I do not have time for that.
Yeah. Agreed. And the last thing you realized when you were 40 is that being more comfortable in your skin might be the most liberating experience of your life.
It's the best. It's so fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I just love it. I mean, I feel like I've always been like a little out there and a little like maybe overly comfortable.
Okay.
But I feel like now I'm just so much happier and so much more content and so much less anxiety. I mean, part of that is not just aging. Like I've done things like therapy and, and coping mechanisms to not be as anxious of a person. But like, man, just getting older really helps a lot with that. I don't know. It's really awesome. I like that about aging.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that one.
Yeah, I think it is probably one of the best I really enjoyed my 30s as well, but I do think being 40, I've learned it's just liberating to I just don't have any fucks to give about a lot of things.
I know. And do you think it just gets better? Like is 50 even better and 60 is even better?
Yeah. I mean,
I think until you start getting like a serious illness, it has to just get better, right? And then obviously dealing with like a serious health problem would be tricky, but yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some old people and I would say that they look like they don't give a fuck about anything. So
That's true. That's true. And they say whatever they want.
Yeah.
They just, whatever comes to mind, they just say it.
Yep.
It's great.
Yep. That's going to be us someday.
I can't wait. I'm already feeling really good about saying whatever I want.
You're already sitting on your porch swing. So your golden years are just right in front of you. Yep.
Right around the corner. Well, aren't we like the same age as the Golden Girls?
Are we?
Wild.
They looked so old.
I think that I know. But I think that I've seen a few memes and stuff that say oh my God, the Golden Girls were actually in their, the younger ones were actually in their 40s. And I was like, oh my God, we all acted like they were ancient mariners.
Yeah. Did you say ancient mariners?
Yeah. Isn't that an expression?
I don't know what that means.
Are you going to Google it?
Yeah, I might.
Okay. I think it's an expression from a book. Isn't that a book? It means just old.
Okay. It says.
Okay.
No, you're just.
No.
No, you're just making it up. It's not an expression.
Oh.
Who have you ever heard say that?
I mean, it must be an expression in my family. I've heard my family members say that. My mom and dad.
Okay.
I guess they led me astray. I'm gonna do a little of my own research on this. I'll let you know.
Okay, the Rime of the Ancient Mariner is the longest poem Coleridge ever wrote and the most influential and studied. It is the source of the expression "an albatross around one's neck" and the famously misquoted lines "water, water everywhere." What? That doesn't have anything to do with Ancient Mariner.
It's called Ancient Mariner.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
By the way, an albatross around one's neck is an idiom that refers to a heavy burden of guilt that can prevent your success. So you should try using that one.
Oh, yeah, I know.
You knew that?
Okay. I know that one. Oh, yeah.
You did not know that.
I so knew that.
What is an albatross?
Well, it's like some sort of an animal.
It's a fish.
But in this, it obviously just...
You don't even know what it is. No.
A fish is an animal.
Well, yeah, but that's so non-specific. Yeah. Okay, you say whatever phrases you want.
Yeah, thank you.
Nobody else has to know what they mean.
I do what I want.
You do what you want because you're 45. Okay.
I'm not 45.
I knew you were going to say that. Okay. Well, I'm looking forward to next year's trip. Keeping a journal of all the things that made me feel old this year so I can reflect on them next year and see if I feel, in fact, older. But I want to say that only 2 of the 4 of us wore old people shoes. So, and it wasn't me and it wasn't Veronica. So.
Lisa and I wore matching old people shoes.
I feel like the shoes that you and Lisa wear are what my parents would refer to as sneakers, you know? Like get your sneakers on. That's what you're wearing, sneakers.
I told my son to get his sneakers today and he was like, what are you talking about? You mean my tennis shoes? I was like, yeah.
There was also some like a couple of references to chafing and apparel that we should wear and planning for the day if we're going to be walking or moving a lot. You know, not staying in the sun for too long and making sure we're in the shade and, you know, just things that I think we never really bothered with before.
Thought about.
Yeah.
For sure. Absolutely.
I had a great time.
Yeah. Which, me too. And you know what? That is our friendship being able to sort of change from being college students to now old ladies is so great. You know, it's kind of like a good relationship. They say like if you can grow together, you know, and I think we have grown together. It's great.
I would agree. Like, I feel lucky to have friendships that have lasted as long as ours has. Because I know quite a people who don't have friends like that, who don't, you know, maybe, they've known someone 20 years or 25 years, but they're not friends with them. Like, that's different. Mm-hmm. And so I'm really grateful to have friends like you and Lisa and Veronica where, we've been friends for 20, 21, 23 years. And I feel like we're friends, you know, and we know each other and we trust each other.
And I think you're right that it's been 20 plus years for all of us. But Molly, you and I have known each other for 25 years. 1999. That's when we met.
That's wild, huh? 1999.
Yeah,
okay.
It's wild.
Well, just as a little token of appreciation for our listeners, I think it would be nice if you developed some kind of a send-off for this episode that includes maybe some of the slang words that you've learned that the kids are using these days.
Well, Molly, I don't know how much I remember. This is a while ago when we talked about this, but I will say I think your podcast is awesome, and it's because you got a lot of riz.
Good. That was good. Good. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Here's to you and your riz. This is Hot Flashbacks. We're out. Want more? We're on all the major podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Just search for Hot Flashbacks and subscribe.